Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Not Everybody Needs a Podcast with your host, Mackenzie Renscher. I hope I look like I'm glowing. I hope I look tan. I hope I look rested. I told you guys last week that I was going on a wellness retreat, and it was called the retreat in Costa Rica. I've talked about it on social media a little bit, but you guys, that was everything I needed. I feel like a few weeks ago when I was just kind of talking about the place that I was in of not feeling rested, not really knowing how to feel rested in a way, not being present, having different idols. Like, I really just feel like it just helped me press pause. And don't get me wrong, it's not, all rainbows and butterflies. Even this morning, I feel like I was beating myself up because I was like, you just had such a good time in Costa Rica. You just went away to like recenter and have some solitude and rest. And then you come home and you get right back into your routine of just forgetting what's important. Like this morning, I had a work thing that I needed to turn in, and I had to be by myself with the kids this morning because Darian had a dentist appointment. And I really just like hopped right back into life. And I feel like I had multiple opportunities this morning to just center myself, pray, think, and give God my first. And I just was not taking those opportunities. So honestly, I'm kind of beating myself up right now because I feel like I just learned so much while I was there just to come home and, feel like I'm failing again. But I know in my heart that I'm not, and that I did learn so much, and thank God for new mercies every morning because I'm going to start again tomorrow. And the good thing is I can start again right now. So after I'm done recording this, I'm going to go upstairs and read and just like take a moment to myself. But that does not take away from the fact that I really had the most amazing time. I went with one of my best friends, Grace Ann. I can't even tell you the relaxation that I felt while I was there. So whenever you get there, they give you this hibiscus tea. It had like agave, hibiscus, ginger, some other stuff in it. And so like immediately you're like, oh, I'm detoxing, honey. Like everything that you drink and eat there is refined sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, organic. I mean, down to the coffee that we were drinking in the mornings. They had a coffee, I think they call it a coffee bean farm. I don't really know what else you would call it. The chickens were hatching eggs and we could see them while we were eating our eggs that morning. Like everything was just so fresh. We got there really late because our flight got delayed. Not only delayed, guys, but we got on our flight there. It was fine. And then our connecting flight was the one that we boarded. The doors had shut. We're sitting there and it felt like doomsday when they come over the monitor and say, hey guys, we have a maintenance issue. We're going to try to get this fixed in the next 45 minutes before we take off. And hopefully we can take off just a little bit late, whatever. 45 minutes go by as we're sitting on this plane. Hey guys, they were not able to get this maintenance situation under control, so we do have to deboard and get you guys another plane. I have never been so bummed. Like when you're in the mindset of like, okay, we're about to take off, and in 3.5 hours from Atlanta to Costa Rica, I'll be in paradise. Oh no, honey. The process just started over, really. So we had to deboard and board again. So that took like 3 hours too late, or later than we thought it was going to be. And so yeah, that kind of bummed me out because I feel like we missed like half the day there. But then we got there and everything just felt perfect. We were starving. That's the first thing, because we were expecting to be there by lunchtime. And so we never had lunch because we were boarding the plane and didn't get a chance to get lunch. So we were starving. So whenever we got there, we were like, what time is dinner? And the thing that is different there is they have like windows that you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you don't really snack throughout the day. I will say it is hit or miss on the food just because it is so healthy if you're going to like it. there's really nothing that I was like, besides the desserts after dinner, that I was like, I don't like this. I could always pick something off, or, you know, if I didn't like one part of the dinner, there were still like other parts of the dinner. For example, like the lunches every day that started with a salad, and I didn't love the salads, but the actual lunch was so good that it didn't really matter. And you think that because the portions aren't as big as you're used to, that you're going to be hungry. I was really never hungry there. And my mom told me that because she was the one that introduced me to the resort. And she was like, okay, so there's not really snacks, and you don't really get to pick what there is for dinner because it's really just whatever they pick fresh that day, but you're really not hungry. And I was like, there's literally no way, if I'm eating veggies and no dairy, no gluten, no sugar, that I'm not going to be hungry. But after you eat, you're full, and you stay full until it's time to eat the next meal, and it works out perfectly. But anyway, so we get there, we check into our room. It's so pretty. Our views are insane. Sunset was just happening, so we really didn't even get to explore. I will say that night, I was like, did we make a mistake coming here? Like, am I going to starve? And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I need to know if I'm going to starve while I'm here, because after dinner was like, that was so healthy that I'm just not used to it. And she was like, you just need to wait till tomorrow. You're going to feel like you're in paradise. And so we woke up after the first night, and she was not lying. I felt like everywhere that I turned was just another beautiful, relaxing thing. The fact that I got to spend such a quality time with one of my best friends too, Grace Ann, it was so special. And they have a coffee and bar station, and you can just go and get it whenever you want. They have like all of these organic teas and coffees that they'll tell you what the benefits of the tea is on the jar and what the tea is, and you can help yourself. And they have like the boiling water there. And so we would start off our days with coffee or tea, and then we'd eat breakfast. And breakfast every day was like a green juice, an orange juice, chia pudding, or overnight oats, some really fresh fruit. And then like we had eggs every morning, but then there would be something addition to the eggs. Like yesterday there was eggs, broccoli, which I know sounds crazy. And I too was like, I think I'm scared, which normally I would be like, breakfast broccoli, it's not the vibe, but it is the way that they cook and season everything that is so good. And then it came with a little date bar, and that was also really good, which is surprising because I'm not a big date fan. But the way that they just describe everything before it comes out, you're just like, this is such an intentional meal. Everything was just so fresh and such good quality. And then we, during the day, would have spa treatments. So while I was there, I got a coffee scrub. That was insane. That was one of the first things that I did in the morning that we got there. And I was like, wait, this is the best thing I've ever done. And also it's such a unique experience, like something that you couldn't do here. Like during it, they have a steam shower for you. So they step out, you get into the steam shower after you're done getting the coffee scrub, and you wash all the coffee beans off, and then they come and do oil and lotion massage. They have you smelling essential oils the whole time with incense. I don't really know how I feel about incense. I'm not like educated on it. I know it smells good, but I fear it's demonic. I'm not really sure. You guys let me know. So that was a little sketchy, but they have you smelling that the whole time. You just feel so relaxed. Everything they do is so intentional. They only use the most like high quality oils, and you can just tell such a difference. And then after we would get done with our spa treatments, we would spend time in the cold plunge, and then you do jacuzzi. It's called contrast therapy. So you do both back to back to back. So I would get in the cold fountain, and then I would hop into the jacuzzi and just go back and forth. And you just feel so refreshed. It's not fun in the moment, but once you hop into the jacuzzi, it's perfect. And then they also have a little area with a steam room. This was the most intense steam room I've ever been in my life. Haven't been in many, we'll say, but it was the most intense one. Gracie and I turned it on, and we could not see each other, and we were like 2 feet apart. My whole body was like, what's going on? I could feel my pores just pouring out sweat. And then they also have these cold cucumbers you can put over your eyes during it with some cold rags, which is really nice. And then they also have a steam shower and there for an option after you do your treatments. And then I got a lymphatic massage, which the tea on lymphatic massages, I don't get it. I hear such good things about them and how good they are for you. But then I got one and I'm like, I don't think I understand what's going on here. And yeah, I also spent so much time reading, being quiet, sitting still, which was very, very good for my heart and soul because that's what I went there to do, really. I just have so many distractions here and it's not anyone's fault. That's just life. Everyone has distractions, especially if you have kids. I'm not calling them a distraction, but in general, it's just there's not a lot of peace and quiet. There's always something to do. Like even I'm sitting in my sunroom right now and I'm like looking at a bouncer that's not where it's supposed to be, a random book bag laying on the ground, a stroller. Like my mind just never really stops going of like things to do. And so the fact that I was there just like really able to read, reset, pray, have quiet and have nothing on my itinerary was really, really good for me and really reminded me what was important. And it also reminded me that you don't have to go and do things like that. I think things like that are very important, like big rest moments, but I can have rest here and rest is always available for me. And it also reminded me that we were not meant to live a go lifestyle. Like I know some of you guys don't believe in God, but I live my life according to the Bible and that is what I believe in. And I believe in Jesus Christ. So that's what I follow. And you just look at how they lived their life and it was never go. Like Jesus was doing so much, but he took so much time to rest and just be with the Father. And that's what we were meant to do. And I just forgot that in life where I was just like, I'm going to wake up. I have to do things for the kids. I have to do this work thing that I've been putting off. And also just distraction. Like it's not even like I'm so busy that I just don't even have any time. I'm scrolling and I am just spending time worrying or whatever it may be. And so just to be able to just detox from everything as far as distraction and sugar and just everything felt so nice. And yeah, I just want to get back into the rhythm of rest. I recommend this trip for everybody. We had such a good time. Did I even finish what I was saying about the lymphatic massage? I think I was just saying like, I don't get it and tell me if I like did something wrong, but they just like very lightly moisturize or massaged you. And I was just like, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I feel like you need to really get in there and get the detoxing because I don't think that my body's releasing any toxins with just these light little taps, but I could be wrong. Maybe I need to do my research. Then the last massage that I got on our last day, we got a seaweed massage. It was just me, actually. I don't know who he is. I think I was including my massage therapist. So they put seaweed all over you. You're in this insane room. It's so cool. You're laying on this like marble table with a wrap underneath you. They put all the seaweed all over you and then they wrap you up and you have this waterfall, this warm waterfall going over you the whole time. The person that is your massage therapist is like pouring additional warm water over you, but you're not really getting wet. It's just like warming up you being wrapped in seaweed. That's all I can describe. I can like insert a clip or something maybe, but it was so amazing. Then they take you in another room and you're already so soft and feel so like relaxed. And then they massage you for another 45 minutes. It's something that I couldn't have done here. And that's what I wanted to do with the spa treatments is like something I couldn't get at like Urban Nirvana. Like I wanted something that was unique and they definitely did that there. And yeah, that's all the massage things that I got done, but the spa was insane. And I felt like every twist and turn, they just had something else that was unique and special. And I had never drank so much water. Like, let me tell you, my stomach hurts today. You want to know why? Because I'm dehydrated and I had Chick-fil-A and pizza and Chinese yesterday after I left the resort. I don't know if I just like forgot what dairy and gluten was and I just had to consume all of it, but I was hurting last night. I was like, this is this is not how I want my stomach to feel. I'd like to go back to my green juices and my chicken with broccoli. But that just made the meals sound boring. The meals were not boring at all. They actually were really unique and fun. But anyway, I just hope to implement what I learned there. I'm very thankful to my husband for allowing me to go and just take a break and rest. And I miss the kids and Darian so much, and FaceTime them like 45 times a day to show Beckham the peacocks that would come join us for breakfast. And she was obsessed with them. But it is nice to be able to go away and just know like everything's taken care of at home, and that your husband is happy for you to be able to go and get a little break from everything. And I'm very, 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 very grateful I was able to do this, and I will always remember it, and I will absolutely be going back. And if you guys do not put this on your bucket list, you will regret it, because it was amazing. Enough of my spiel of this trip, even though I could go on and on and on, and I am down to answer any questions. I always see y'all's comments and I try to answer. So if you guys have any other questions, DM me, or you guys can comment and I'll try to comment back. But it was amazing. Please put it on your bucket list. The retreat in Costa Rica, 1010. Please sponsor me, guys, so I can come back. They're also building 10 new rooms and I believe it's a rooftop bar, which will just bring everything to a whole new level. So I have to go back whenever that's done. Anyway, I saw that Justin Bieber did a little hockey, I think it was like a fundraiser for the LA fires. And it really got me thinking, I'm so over, which I've already talked about. Like, I don't get the Haley and Justin slander and everyone thinking that they're like getting a divorce every week. But bro, the like allegations of him on drugs really, really kills me. I feel like, one, I think it's just weird to speculate something that serious whenever somebody has dealt with that in the past. Like, he's been open about his addiction. And it's like, okay, so if he is on drugs, like obviously I know we're all nosy and we like gossip and whatever, but I'm like, this is just not really something to speculate, especially whenever he has a young child. Their son is only 2 weeks older than mine. And I'm just like, it's just kind of gross to me that like they never want to report anything whenever he does anything good. Like anytime he goes to the road events and is being a supportive husband or like being sweet with people, that's never talked about. But then if he looks tired on a Tuesday walking to a restaurant, it's like this whole thing where they're like, he's doing horrible. And I'm just over it, because then they saw him at the hockey game and they're like, oh, he seems like he's doing good. I'm like, okay, which one is it? Because I saw him at the hockey game and I was like, I think he's a little strange. And you know what? What's wrong with that? I think he's always been a little weird. And I like admire it. And I think that we should normalize being weird, because I just think that he is. Whenever he did that rap video with his friend, I think his name's like Eddie, he dated Mackenzie Ziegler at one point. And he did that video where he was like rapping and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's just on drugs or he's whatever. And I took that video as like, I just think he's being funny and weird with his friends. But people just like speculate so much and it drives me nuts. And this is just everyone's reminder just to like maybe stop doing that. I was also shook. I did not watch the Oscars because I'm not like a really big, I love the Grammys and I love like, I almost said the MTV Awards. I don't even think they do that anymore. And I love, oh my God, what is it called? Why am I tripping? What is it called in New York where it's like it's Anna Wintour's, oh my God. Hold on. I have to look. Y'all, I know all of you are out there screaming that at me right now. Hold on. It's the Met Gala. That was going to drive me insane. Anyway, I like to watch the Met Gala because of the themes and everyone's dressed up and like looks dope. And I like to like look at outfits and see everybody. And like, I don't know, there's always something iconic happening there. And I love those in the Grammys, but I'm just like not a big Oscars girl. I cannot believe I just forgot what the Met Gala was. Anyway, I like to watch those. I didn't watch the Oscars, but I do know for sure that Timothee Chalamet should have won one. That's all I know. I don't even know who won above him. I just know that he should have won one for his performance as Bob Dylan. Have I watched it? No, but I do see his different interviews that pop up. And how he talks about how he trained for this role for 5 years, like lived, breathed, ate Bob Dylan. And the fact he did not win an award for that, I'm just like, justice for him. Justice. And also, like, I live for him and Kylie. And if anyone has any other opinion, I'm just like, there is no other opinion besides, do they make sense on paper? You know, I'm not sure, but I just love them together. They just seem very happy, and that's what I support. I also have mold tea. I have the tea from my mold situation that I talked about a couple weeks ago, where I'm like convinced that we have mold in our house. Well, guys, the mold dog came. He wore little booties. I love that for him. He was so polite. And he came, sniffed around. He did not alert anywhere in the house besides a closet. Okay. So he goes inside this closet, alerts. They don't see anything. They go through everything, and he's alerting through the wall. And so they basically just told me to call somebody to come check out the toilet that was above it. He came. There was no leakage. They can't figure it out. So he referred me to another person who is now coming today after I get done filming this. And he's going to test the air quality in that closet to see what's up. And if we need to cut open the wall to see if there's any mold in there. Because the dog alerted 3 separate times because they wanted to triple check. They took him to other places in the house. They brought him back, and every time he alerted. So I think there's something up, which at this point, I'm not happy if there's mold, but at least we have an answer to the fact that my kids have snotty noses way too much. And so do we. I'm done with it. I need to figure out what's going on. Like, we live such a healthy lifestyle. Like, we take care of ourselves. They get fresh air. We don't take them to daycare or anything. So it's not like they're like exposed to sickness a ton. So we have no idea what's going on. So it's just driving me nuts. But so far, no answers besides that the mold dog came and he did alert. And then the other guy said that there was nothing that he could really do. So we should have answers by the end of today once we get the air quality test and he figures out what he wants to do. All of this is just so expensive and stupid, but I'm like, I have to have answers. And I don't know if like someone can like crawl into my air ducts or something and figure out what's going on, but it just drives me insane, the fact that they have snotty noses so often. I'm just like, are we supposed to be cooped up in this house for the rest of our life? Because I don't like to bring our kids places when they don't feel well. So it's too much. So I'll keep you guys updated. The mold tea continues, because I also do think it could be like an air quality issue too. So I don't know. I will definitely keep you guys updated, because I feel like, it's too much. And I'm tired of like having random headaches and stuff. Like, I'm so convinced something is going on. Something that I realized that when I think Darren and I do well, but also like I still have areas that I want to work on with, and getting away kind of like helped reveal that to me a little bit, is how to have healthy arguments. I feel like him and I have done a good job learning this over the years that we've been together. Him and I are going to be together, is it 9 years this year in September? Or 8? I think it's 8 years. Well, this is our 8th Valentine's Day. So 9 years in September we'll be together, which is insane and amazing. And we're coming up on 3 years of being married in April, which shout out, because I cannot wait to go on our anniversary trip. That's going to be so amazing, because going on this trip without him definitely made me miss him. And I was like, I wish I could have done this with him, but it just wasn't possible with the kids. And I just like to have him here with the kids. And we could go on a vacation without them like once a year. But other than that, I'm like, I don't want to leave them too much, but that will be great for us. Anyway, I think that like over the years, we've definitely learned how to have healthy arguments. I feel like whenever I was younger, I think I had so much trauma from like my parents, and also just pride of in an argument wanting to be right so bad. And not only that, but like trying to prove a point, or trying to almost like I have to be my own defender and basically I wasn't getting anywhere in our arguments because I was not being selfless and I was being very prideful. And over the years, I feel like we have learned humility in arguments, and also even if we disagree and we can't figure out who's right or who's wrong in the situation, I feel like we have learned to be humble quicker, even when we have messed up, and apologize. But I have realized, I think that a lot of times in arguments, and this was with like really anyone, actually, I don't really argue with anyone or have disagreements with anyone besides Darian, and we don't really argue a ton, honestly. But I think when we do, I feel like I always have to almost prove a point of like, I'm independent. And I don't know if that makes sense. Like not that I like don't need him, but almost that way, which is like so not productive. And it's just a coping mechanism of, you know, I don't need anyone because of like how I was raised or whatever. And I think that that's something that was revealed to me during this trip of like, I'm allowed to be vulnerable and not feel like I have to like have it all together, that I like don't need anybody, because that's just not true. And like, it's amazing that I have a partner that I can like be vulnerable with, and that he's not going to use that against me, and that like I'm safe. And so that's something that I want to work on, perhaps in therapy, of like learning that I'm safe and that I don't have to be in fight or flight at all times, because I think that that causes like a lot of unnecessary anxiety in me, which is so unnecessary. So that is one of the realizations that I had. I honestly had a lot of realizations while I was there, but that was a big one. And then also just like, I really have rest available to me and how important that is. But yeah, I want to do a Mackenzie's mindset before we wrap up. I actually want to do multiple. I've been making them longer whenever it's just me, because I feel like I can really like fully give my opinion. And yeah, it's just, I like to do the long ones that are like really specific whenever I'm filming with just me, because I think it's fun. You guys have to keep sending them to me though, because I love reading them. Like I say every week. I literally say that every week because I read them every week in my DMs. I screenshot them and I put them in my notes so that I can use them. And yeah, I love them. I have like a whole notes full of them. Let's do this one first. Hi, Mackenzie. I'm getting married this year, and I am kind of in the same position that you were in, where my father won't be present at my wedding. I'm definitely having my mom walk me down the aisle, but I'm not sure what to do when it comes to the father-daughter dance part of the reception. I was wondering if maybe you could share your approach to the situation, and if this is too personal of a question, totally understand. I don't want to invade your privacy whatsoever. It's not too personal of a question. No worries. I screenshotted it and put it right in my notes to answer. This is definitely a tough thing. I don't think that there's any right or wrong answer, but since you asked for my specific advice, I just kind of had the approach of, one, there's nothing to be like insecure about or feel pressured about, since it's not going to be traditional. I think I struggled with that a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? A lot of things aren't traditional anymore, and that's okay. And a lot of people do have weddings where they don't have a dad, and it used to be traditional where the bride's family paid for the whole wedding, and like that's also not traditional or doable for a lot of people. And so that's totally fine that is not traditional, and you can let that go. And my advice to you would be, if you really do want to do a dance or you want to honor your mom, you could dance with your mom. That's what I ended up doing. I really liked actually having that time for her to be honored and to have that time for her and I during the day, because the day was so like just all over the place that her and I didn't really even get to talk, and we just kind of talked during that time. And if I could go back, I wouldn't change it, but it's also, I would tell myself, like, you don't have to have a dance just for the sake of like having one. Like, your husband and his mom can dance, and then that could be that. And then you can like throw the bouquet right after. It doesn't have to be like super traditional or whatever, but I would say either dance with your mom or just skip it all together, because that's also an option that I don't think is bad. If you just want to skip it all together, I mean, things just aren't traditional anymore, and that's totally fine. And I think people know and get the vibe that if your dad isn't there, like it's totally fine not to have a dance, and you don't need to feel stressed out about that, and don't let that take too much of your time on your special day. So that would be my response. Skip it all together, or dance with your mom, or maybe if you have a brother, you could dance with your brother if you like him. All right. Next one is, I love your content so much. I look up to you in so many ways. Oh, I love you. My Mackenzie's mindset question has to do with moving away from my hometown after graduation from college. I want to move to another state to grow and experience new places, but I have a younger sister and I feel guilty for wanting to move somewhere else to find a job. I also can sense that my dad does not want me to move away, so having conversations about me possibly moving post-grad for a job is uncomfortable and usually shut down. What are your thoughts on what I should do moving forward? How do I do what's best for me without feeling extreme guilt for outgrowing a place where so many people I love still are? This is one that I wanted to answer because I did move away from where I lived for majority of my life. It is a little bit different than your situation because I was moving where my mom was, which was an hour and a half down the road and an hour and a half closer to Darien, which was important for me before we got engaged to live a lot closer. We did long distance for 5 years. And I wanted to be together before we be closer, before we got engaged, just because I wanted to do normal things with him. Like we were literally only seeing each other like after football games and when I was going up to Clemson, and we just didn't have a traditional dating life. So I wanted to have a little bit more of a traditional dating life before we got together. So that's a little different. But I will say, I would encourage you to experience not living close to people at least once, even if it is for like, if you wanted to go move somewhere for a year and you just committed to it for a year, like go do that. And if you end up not being happy, you can go back. You can always go back. And I would just encourage you to do that. But also, if you think it's going to make you sad to not be close to your friends or family, it's also okay to not experience that. I feel like I've never really moved too far and I really have no regrets from that. I think a lot of people say that about college too. They're like, just go to college and you're going to regret it. And I just don't always think that's the case. So I'm not going to tell you that you're always going to regret it if you don't move, but I think you should go experience it. And I think you can make it a fun thing for your parents. Like you guys can come visit me. And if your dad is sad about it, that's a totally normal thing for your parents. When my kids want to move away from me, I'm going to be like truly devastated on the floor sobbing. So I get it, but I do think it's important to do that for yourself if that's something that you want to do. And as much as you love your sister, she can come visit, and at least you can say that you went and experienced that, and then you can always go back. So that would be my advice. Be free. Don't try to make decisions just solely based on other people. It's sweet that you're, wanting to honor them still and be close to them, but I also think it'd be nice to experience it. So yeah, that wraps up today's episode. If you guys have any questions about the retreat or whatever, I'm happy to answer them. I hope it was helpful. I also hope that you guys take from this episode that you don't have to go to Costa Rica to experience that. And you can wake up tomorrow and decide that you're going to get your prioritize what matters most to you. And you don't have to go to another country to experience that. That's just what I decided to do, just to really get a full reset. But that's not doable for everybody. And you can do that anywhere, anytime. That's always available to you. So hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please send me in more Mackenzie's Mindsets. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. We are very close to 40K, which I'm excited about. And then if you guys are following along on Spotify and Apple, you guys can follow along there as well if you just listen. I love you guys, and I will see you so soon with another episode of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast. Thanks for listening.